Okay, so we had our big storm warning, but nothing really happened. I mean, it was kind of sprinkly. It was just like how it is basically every day here, dark and gloomy and freezing cold. So I don't know about whatever went on with the storm, but at least we didn't get, I've got power. I'm not under snow again. So I feel happy about that. And yesterday when I was looking at TikToks, and it is just growing more and more and more and more. I mean, the amount of people who keep talking about what's coming out about the consumption of human, that is, really got some people spinning. And the there's several things. The food thing has really got people freaking out. And the main thing is all we have to do is stop relying on the system. Start becoming independent from the system. They got us to all be lazy and depend on them. But now we're seeing you can't depend on them. They're the ones who are out to get you. So it's a lot for people to wake up to. And there's also some sort of full moon, lunar eclipse or something. There's some big thing happening this weekend with moon cycles, which those will bring in a lot of energy. And so it will, it could be anything. I mean, it's hard to say. It could be, a lot of people just get super, super upset or stressed or go through a lot. So it will probably have some sort of significant impact on, a lot of different people. But who knows? It's hard to know because we're all, unique. So it's hard to say how each thing is going to affect us. And then the thing that people are really freaking out about is this moving the 2030 up to start now, the whole agenda. So if you go and look up about the agenda, it's one of the things I have been talking about, their plan to poison us and using frequency and stuff like that. I saw more of that interview yesterday with that woman's. Maybe somebody shared the whole interview in a bunch of parts or something, but I saw more of that woman who was reading that paper and saying it's a NASA paper, and it's all these different worldwide government agencies that are involved in this. And it is all about, I mean, in the paper, they basically say we're disgusting animals, that we have no value to them. We're just more of a problem. They only care about slaves and control. They just have fun, using us for entertainment. Just like it's all the way back to the gladiators, they use people for entertainment. Another thing too is the more I think about it, because there's so many things about people finding these old historical like pictures. Like there's a whole thing about the World Fair, and that it looked like Roman empires. They had big giant statues supposedly made of solid gold and all sorts of stuff. And that was in the United States. And so, that just gives us more, to me, of this incongruency with time. I don't believe it's all simultaneous, that it goes this like this age that's ending right now and the new one beginning. It is going to be, this transition is what shows us the changeover. But the new age will be so different from the old age. Each age is just about the lessons. It's like you go to third grade, then fourth grade doesn't have anything to do with third grade, but you still have your lessons that you learned in third grade, but you're having whole new lessons. And I think that is how this time goes with the ages. Like whatever went on during, the different, like the Roman Empire, or that's the one that keeps coming to my head. But that they are standalone times. They are standalone periods of experience where souls come in to go through the experience, but they don't necessarily lead to the next thing. I think that's why people get so caught up in this, like, time is like this congruent, like where everything leads to the next thing. But then when you look at that, it's like, well, then where did our hidden the knowledge go? Where did these tools go? How did people seem to be able to do more before? How did we get less? I don't know what you would say. I mean, I keep hearing like intelligent or whatever, but like they could build the pyramids and they didn't have all this fancy machinery that we know of. So how did they do something with such precision? And then what has happened, why we aren't still doing it? That's what I mean. It's like each thing is a standalone thing, but we're looking all the time for how things go together. But I don't necessarily think that they go together or are meant to go together. I really think that each age is just a time period that souls come in. You come in to learn and experience what that has to offer. You come in with your soul group. You come in, you already have your written contracts. You know what this age has to offer. And the lessons that are in this experience. And you decide with your soul group to come in and play different parts and get the full experience out of each age. That's what I think. And then the age ends and we go into a new age. And so then, the souls come in to do that one. This is just, because we're awake and alive during a transition, that everything is going to be standing out more. This whole idea of time. And I think it is so that we do question it. But I think that the questions are going to lead us to the being able to not just manipulate it, but to understand it and be able to move through time and space differently. Because it's our own consciousness, it's our own beliefs that keep our consciousness trapped. We set the parameters for our consciousness. Just like, when you think about all the people who don't believe in the supernatural, oh, that doesn't exist, that's not real and all that stuff. But the only reason it's not real is because they don't believe in it. If they believed in it, then they would see that it's real. They would see it around them. And that is, because I've always lived in that, I don't know, as this has all gone on, it just shows me more and more that I was not ever living fully in the same world as everybody else. I was never fully in there. It was always, like I said before, it was always kind of like I was in this in-between place where I could go and shift back and forth. But it has to do with where you're focused on. What are you focused on? And what are you learning from what you're focused on? Because when you, for me, the whole thing with the daydreamer and being able to just not be there. When you're not there, it isn't like you are just there, but you're thinking about something. No, you're completely not there. That is why I have said it's more like being in two places at once. You're completely in another experience. And for people who are suffering from a lot of trauma and who keep spinning out on that trauma, see, they just keep going back into that and going back over and over and over. So they're not in the present moment. They're not dealing with what is here and now. They're dealing with something in the past and they're stuck there just spinning their wheels because you can't do anything. You can't change it. Everybody else from the situation has moved in different directions. That was an isolated incident that is past. It's over. So as long as you just keep holding on to it, you're keeping it alive. But you're keeping it alive because you need to work through it. It's just that people aren't being taught how to work through things. And so to me, working through something is to sit with it. Think about it. You know, whatever it is that's bothering you, let it come to the surface. So many people try and hold stuff down. They don't want to feel the pain. But it isn't the feeling the pain, it's releasing the pain. Go back and visit this traumatic event and, you know, think about it and sit with it and release it. And to me, it seems really simple, but I have really come to understand that there's a lot of people who are really, really, really living their life by the rules. You know, they really were needing somebody to set the parameters for their beliefs and how they would enter into this world. And it's so crazy too, is how much movies were used to do that, to show us how we needed to live and show us how we needed to behave in situations. It is like they were trying to role play to show us, but there's so many people that they really did do that. They really did base how they did things and looked at things by things in movies, in shows. And it's so funny too, because like I remember when Friends was so popular, I watched it all the time. I wanted to be Rachel. I just thought, oh, she's the coolest, you know. And then when people kept going like, well, all these shows, they have the best apartment, which in true life would cost so much money. There's this huge apartment. They never work. They always have the best clothes. So it's always this illusion. It's never attainable. It's never something that we can go and really get. It's always just a carrot dangling. It's something for us to chase. But we end up just chasing our tails and getting nowhere. At the same time that they're poisoning the shit out of us. I've seen some, this one bothered me again because I just had taken a nice long soak last night. I went to a grand opening while I was in Spokane, and I got these bath crystals with all this lavender and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'm going to take a nice bath and soak and do my shaving and all that. And so, you know, I had a really nice soak, you know, and I wasn't thinking so much about the venom or anything. And so then this morning when I looked on TikTok, there was some teacher and he was doing some experiment with water, showing the kids, and all of the water had, all the tap water and drinking water and stuff had chlorine in it, which he started saying, well, you got to have chlorine in it to kill the bacteria and stuff. Otherwise we'd all have all these parasites, but chlorine causes cancer. And one of them, the test thing, a girl had her hand in it. And then she took it out and they tested the water and it didn't have chlorine anymore because it all absorbed into us. And so, you know, I mean, when you really start looking at all this stuff and thinking about how much our body is fighting every day for, you know, they fighting against these cancer-causing agents that are inside of us. Like our body's on overdrive all the time. I just saw another one where a woman, she, some of this stuff is just horrible. I can't watch. I just have to go through it. People who are talking about injury and it shows them. It shows what they're going through. It's, oh my God, it's horrible. It's horrible. And this one woman, she was saying that her husband has, it seems like it is cancer either in his lung or his chest. So you can get it in your chest wall. You can get bone cancer. You can get all sorts of cancer. But this guy has some sort of tumors. But there's a lot of places this stuff can grow. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in your lungs. It can be in the chest cavity. And I wasn't sure what she was saying because she had said chest. So anyways, they were going in to do a surgery that morning to remove it. And there was way more. There was way more of them. They couldn't remove them. They ended up having to sew the guy up. And so she was freaking out like, how is this happening, people? How are you going in and these aggressive cancers are just multiplying so fast, which makes me really concerned about my brother's test he has coming up on the 23rd, because if these tumors are growing that fast, because it's not, they're not, I mean, they're doing something to do that, to make them grow fast. You know, they're going to sell us all the drugs that we need to take until they're finished with us. And to me, it is just, we just have to keep pulling back, pulling towards self, taking care of ourselves, going towards nature. I saw a thing yesterday too, where a guy was saying that this is not the split, like what I was saying, the split between science and nature, of our creator and of the man-made creation. To me, that is the split that we're in. We're either going to go in the direction of humans becoming AI droid slaves, or go into, we're going to become our true, you know, animal nature, be a part of that world, of our true core of who and what we are, and instead of being manipulated and changed into something else. I mean, that was the whole beginning of humanity, or human beings anyways, was just taking an animal and manipulating the DNA to create slaves. And it hasn't stopped, has it? They continue the same attitude, the same behavior towards us. So, but when we wake up and we see, hey, I don't need to be your lab rat anymore. I'm a child of God. I'm a child of nature. I have a natural part of me. And, you know, another thing too, I saw, oh, this was really weird. Okay, so I'll do these couple of things and then I'll go. I want to run to the store real quick, and then I might tape again later. But this was really trippy. So this one video, it had this guy, and he was between two of the towers. And while he was standing there filming, he was videotaping, there was tons of bees everywhere on the ground, and they were dropping while he was doing it. He was like, whoa, 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 you can hear them. They're just falling out of the sky because of whatever is going on, which that woman was talking about. They were going to use this, whatever these towers do. It's something about microwaving frequency. Hold on. Hurry, please, I'm doing something. Okay, don't knock over my thing, please. I'm sitting here and I'm doing this. Don't please. Go sit down over there. Anyways, so I gotta hold on to the thing now so she doesn't knock it over. Okay, so something about this, okay, microwaving our minds or something, our bodies, I don't know. But all this stuff they're doing is affecting nature too. Even yesterday, it was just kind of weird because a squirrel came up. I was looking out the window and it came up on his stick that was like him and I are just sitting there looking at each other. And he wasn't scared or anything. I kept thinking, oh, as soon as he sees me, he's going to take off running. And he didn't. He just kept sitting there staring at me. And they start cleaning himself like he's just kicking back. And so I just watched him for a while. And then I thought, it's so weird because even on my drive, I saw so many, way more than normal, animals, roadkill. You know, tons and tons of raccoons, possums. Some were so squished you couldn't even tell what they were. But I thought, whatever they're doing is messing with nature. It's not just us. They are out to destroy this planet. They are destroying everything, and they don't care. They don't care about anything other than them. You know, a concrete jungle is good for them. They don't care about nature. They only care about, I don't know, really, blood and kids. Like, what are these? I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. But so this other video, and it was confusing over the time of this video. The woman was saying something about the dates and when this video, and it's something about WikiLeaks. And she said, this is the stuff they're trying to hide. This is why Assange is in jail and stuff. And so I don't know all of the different stuff. But in this video, it shows a couple. And they're in Norway. And they're out on a bridge. And they're, you know, out taking pictures of each other. So, I don't know what their event is, if they're on vacation, if they're, what's going on with them, but they're out there on this bridge taking pictures. And so this is their video from their camera. And so you see some other people, and there is, I'll just kind of give you like the whole synopsis instead of trying to go exactly, never very great with repeating things exactly. So he has the camera and he's taking a picture. She walks over to the side of the bridge and he starts to take a picture, and he says, your nose is bleeding. So she reaches up like that, and she gets blood on her hand. And then she says, your nose is bleeding. So he reaches up. Then all of a sudden there's a flash behind him, this weird flash of light that is out in the distance, which come to find out there's a nuclear plant or something around here. So this flash happens, and when it does, it's like a magnet starts pulling all of the birds out of the trees. Like you literally see this in the thing. These birds start flying. They're not flying, they're being sucked. They're not flying at all. It's like this huge thing that just all of a sudden sucks them, and they all go. And then they all start falling on the ground. Like tons of birds on the ground all of a sudden dying. I think they're already dead when they hit the ground. But so, and the camera, when the guy does his thing and he looks at it, it's on the camera, but then he falls and all the people fall and everybody dies right there. And it was never reported. It was never talked to, And I think the person was talking about these experiments they're doing on us all the time. That's what I keep saying. I keep saying it and saying it and saying it. But we are being experimented all the time. Each location is its own experiment. And they have no problem wiping out a whole town and pretending like nothing happened. And that's what I was talking about just last week. So to me, the stuff that keeps coming in to my orbit is constantly giving me confirmation of the stuff that, they show me and tell me in my head. Because it is like, I'll see something, but then when I see something, they give me the whole background. Like they just open it up, and all of a sudden I see it and I understand it and I know it like on this other level. And it's got to be something different. I mean, I think it's going to start happening for everybody. I don't think like, I'm different from other people. I think I just have more of an awareness of it, but I think it's going to start happening for everybody. But there's definitely, there's more to the story than I'm shown. And it kind of goes to me of that thing where if you're really got your consciousness trapped on, it could be government, it could be school, it could be on the three-dimensional world, it could be on your own traumas, it could be on your own dramas, it could be on anything. What you are focusing your consciousness on takes it away from where it can be anywhere else, because you have got your energies centered on your own thought, your own whatever it is, which you're supposed to be learning from that anyways. So there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has to do their own thing. I'm just talking about mine is different, the way things have been going, and I question it sometimes just because when I do this, I feel like everybody knows what I know. And we're just like, I'm putting in my part, talking about what I'm seeing. But then when I talk to regular people, just face to face, nobody is having the same things as me. Even when I talk to it's weird when people they'll think that they like me, and they'll be like, think I'm just the greatest thing, and they really like me. But then as soon as I start saying the stuff I think, it's just like, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, okay, crazy person. And it's weird because it's just as weird. Like, why do you like somebody when you don't agree with them? Like, that to me is a big thing that is going to be changing. This shallow way of developing relationships. It's just, I don't know, it's very strange. And when I try and say the stuff I think, I don't know, it's weird. But so when I am seeing what I'm seeing, when I'm being shown what I'm being shown, it doesn't seem like, this is so hard to explain some of this stuff, because I feel like it's the people blocking themselves. Like they can't imagine that there's anything else to know. So they just kind of block themselves. I feel like so much will open up to people the more they take down these parameters that they believe in, that they structure their beliefs around. And I don't understand why I can see and understand some of this stuff before other people. I know it has something to do with my mission. I mean, I know that. Because I just know it. I mean, they tell me that stuff all the time. Like, I'll be questioning, and it's like, well, this is what you're here to do. But it's just this kind of weird, because it seems like so many people are trying to live their life with deficits because they're not getting the whole story. They're not seeing the whole thing. But, I just see it. And I know that other people all have the ability to see it and see through all of this stuff. It's almost kind of, sometimes, I was thinking about this last night, and I was thinking, it's almost kind of like a burden to be able to see things that other people can't see. Because for one thing, you don't have people to talk about it with, so you always sound like a crazy person. But you see that, some of this stuff can help people, but you can't get them to see it or hear it or understand it. They have to develop it in themselves. It's part of this development of self, I think. And I think one of the reasons why it's easier for me or something is just because I never bought into some of this stuff. I always had that separation from this 3D. I always knew they were lying about stuff. I knew they were lying about God. I knew they were lying about ghosts. I knew they were lying about aliens. There was certain things that I just knew, and I couldn't understand. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't understand why people wouldn't believe in things, why people would laugh at me and think I was crazy and stuff. And it was very confusing, and I didn't even realize how much stuff I was being shown back then. But I know that this is all real. I know that they are poisoning us. I know that this is about our souls. I know this is about a school. I know this is about reincarnation. I know this is about us claiming our sovereignty. I don't know how long this has to go on. Like, I don't know how far this food thing's going to go. I think it's to show us not to rely on corporate for anything. We have to claim our sovereignty, and you claim it by starting to live it, by taking care of yourself and leaving the system. And it's a very complex thing to do. Like I said, I keep trying and trying to move towards natural, to move towards growing my own stuff. But still, like, I'm on Social Security, and I am on, what is that called? Disability insurance from, so my income is still coming from the system. And, I still have a house loan. Like, there's still parts of my life that are very trapped in the system that I am, I want the system to implode on itself. And the more I'm going to keep working towards that. I mean, I don't know, as long as they're going to send me money and we're on that money system. But, I've already started going towards the other system, not the crypto. I'm doing the solid silver. I believe that I think there's going to be if people start just thinking, oh, crypto, I think I don't think people understand so much about how the finances work and stuff. I don't think I did until I was really paying attention and listening to a lot of economy people and money people explaining the system, explaining about our birth certificate, explaining about the fiat system, explaining about the maritime law and all of that stuff. It all is a part of it. The Rockefellers, the Chase, all of it is all a part of this enslavement of us in this money system. And that is what they're going to just do the same thing with the crypto. The only way to do a crypto is if it has some sort of solid base that you are all buying. So if you said, okay, we have 10 pounds of gold or 10 ounces, I don't know, a lot. We have a bunch of gold. And so we have this cryptocurrency that's going to be based on this gold. So we're going to sell these, how much ever they decide. So this is worth $50,000, and we have these cryptos that we're going to sell, and each one is worth this much. But you can't oversell what you have. You can only wait and see if it goes up. So I don't know. There's a lot of kind of a pyramid scheme or something going with the crypto. You have to really look at it. Like, a lot of people are getting screwed over on it. But if you have something real, something solid that can go up and down in value, and you hold on to that, like especially right now while it's low and it's going to go up so much, then you have something that's real, that's solid. So I've been working towards that. I've been working towards becoming independent and having my own business with my place, renting it and stuff for vacation, like I've talked about. So I am making moves towards that, but it is, it's baby steps, leaving the system. But I think everybody has to start seeing, like, what isn't working. We know the food crisis is going to be big. I mean, it's crazy. And the formula thing, when everybody's freaking out about the formula, and then stupid Gator Boy comes out like, oh, we've got an artificial one that we're working on. Every freaking thing is artificial in the science world. Everything. And everything that is artificial is toxic to us. It's chemicals, it's toxins. They want to start filling these babies with toxins. They're probably putting neobots in them from the very beginning. All they care about is making us sick so that we buy the drugs. Whoever lives, that they are, because it's a testing center. So whatever creating these superhuman slaves is all they're trying to do. They don't give a crap. They don't give a crap about you having freedom or a life or a job or anything like that. This is their self-sustaining environment. They are only out to save themselves. They don't care about anybody else. And also now, there's so much stuff coming out with celebrities and stuff. So many of them are saying stuff and getting themselves backed into a corner with their ridiculousness. And there was another one yesterday. It was just came into my head. So I keep seeing Josiah Rises. He's really big on the exposing the Hollywood hypocrisy. So I think he has a couple of stations, but he's got all sorts of stuff about what's going on with the Hollywood drama and so much stuff with The View and everything. But there was somebody in particular that I was going to say something about that I had just seen. I can't remember. Might come back to me. But anyways, all of this stuff is being exposed. All of the bullshit and the lies. And, Hollywood, when you really break it down, was really just, these desperate people who thought, oh, yeah, I want to be famous. I want people to like me. I want to do they're chasing this dream. And then when they went there to try and do it, it was really, they were just looking for paid spokesmen. Yeah, we'll give you a part, but you're going to do what we say. You're going to do this and do that. But anything that they give you, you owe them. So these people are not, I don't know. There's some sort of a distance that they would have had to place between us, between the general population and themselves. And they tried to make like, oh, these people are the celebrities. Oh, they're so great and they're so rich and they got the life. But so many people believed it and tried to chase it. I mean, they're using it so much right now. And to me, just that guy who now is with Kim Kardashian. It's like, oh my God. When he was on Saturday Night Live, he couldn't even do a goddamn skit without cracking up. You know, he was never good at it. Like, where did he come from? I'm even thinking, like, some of these people, I've been noticing, some of these people, they're too perfect. Like, they're way too perfect. And they have like, oh, this is popular. Everybody likes, you know, big plump lips or long eyelashes or whatever the thing is that they're pushing, big bushy eyebrows. And then all of a sudden there's all these girls that are born looking like that. I don't know. I really think that they have been messing with the DNA for a while on some of these people. I think, you know, when I've heard people say, you know, there's a lot of them that are clones or something. But I'm beginning to really think there's a lot that are just lab created. And then just like any fertility doctor puts the embryo inside of you and it grows in you. And these women think, you know, that this is their baby, but it's really these lab created superstars that they're making or something. I don't know. There's something just very strange about it. There's something so strange about everything. The sun, the moon, all of the footage I've seen on that. There's this guy, and he's got some really cool telescope, and he's always doing these shots of the moon, the sun, and just weird sky stuff. And there was one that he did I don't know if it was yesterday, I can't tell the date, but it will look like the sun, but it had a ring, like a ring of fire, and then it had this thing in the middle, but it looked just like, oh, what is that? It is, what is that called? It's not called Siddhartha, I don't think. It's the woman of chaos that has all of the arms. And it's, I think that she's represented a lot of times with blue or something. All of these people that they used to think of as gods, I think were just people from other planets. But she is like the god of chaos or something. But he was showing this, the sun, and it looked just like the picture that she's always in, like this ring of fire. And I don't know, it was weird. I just think there's so much. I think we have thought things that are real aren't real. Like, I had heard a long time ago that the moon wasn't real, that it was just like it's an old space capsule or something, then it gets moved around. And but the same thing with the sun. Like, if we're under a firmament, how far does it go up? And where are these things? Where is the sun and the moon and the stars? Are they outside of the firmament? Are they inside the firmament? Are they artificial? How much stuff is artificial and how much is natural? I think for sure that stars are energy, that they are depending on, you know, if you went into that energy, I would assume that a lot of them are realities, that you go into different realities. And they're all around us, all of these realities. Like, when they had shown me that before, it was like the lines on a record. The reason that we're not in the reality that's right next to us is because we're focused on this one. If we change our focus on a timeline in our own lives, that will change us into a new reality. Because we are changing our focus and we're moving ourselves onto another timeline, another focus. You can focus back and you can go back. Like, that's how close these things are. And everybody around us is in these different realities. It's just, I don't know, it's very trippy when you start thinking about how we are projected into here. And I guess yesterday I also heard this guy talking about the CIA files. You know, I was talking about the FBI, CIA, they've released all these files. And the CIA ones talk a lot about consciousness and astral projection. And they say in the CIA ones, we are a projection here. And that is what that on initiation, that Mateus DeStefano, he was saying that when I had first started hearing him. And I was like, oh, that to me makes so much sense. We are a projection. Our higher selves are here, and they are projecting themselves birthed into a reality. And I think it is because this reality is three-dimensional. It isn't where when we come from a high vibration to go into a low vibration, you have to go into like a spacesuit kind of situation. And so you're projected through this, what you think of as a living being, but nothing is real. There's nothing that is ever real. I mean, everything is just atoms and vibration, and but that is what's so crazy, is how we can project ourselves into a dream essentially and live and experience through the dream. I find it fascinating, and I'm excited to learn more about this and more about how we have control over the experience. Like when we can turn this experience into lucid dreaming. And I've been working on that. Like if there's something that I don't want in a situation, then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to remove that. I don't want that there. And just like lucid dreaming, trying to put that more into effect in our lives. And I know that it has something to do with our energy and how we focus our energy. And so I believe that we're going to move into that. I think that is where people are like, well, I can manifest whatever I want. The thing is most people are manifesting the wrong things. They're trying to manifest money. It's like, why would you want to manifest money? You want to manifest security. You want abundance. You want everything that you need to be there for you when you need it. That's the stuff. And that is where you have to look at yourself as having value. You have to say, hey, I deserve whatever I want. I'm God's creature. I'm here to experience. And I'm not here to experience lack. I am done experiencing lack. I've understood that concept. I have felt that concept. Now I'm ready to understand about abundance, because that's lessons. I mean, so many people who have gone without don't realize that to have there's a lot of lessons, that come with having something that other people want. And, and it all has to do with how you see what you deserve. Everything that happens in our lives has to do with what we think we deserve. Not all the way back, like when I was a kid, having a pervy dad or whatever. You don't just get what you deserve. You choose an experience to come in and learn from it. And there's these experiences are so much more complex and complicated than people understand, because there's always this balancing. There's always this, we have to play different roles. And it's what we come in to learn through the experience. That is what we are doing it for. We're not doing it so we can be perved on by somebody. We're doing it because we're learning about compassion. We're learning about, there's a lot to learn when you have a parent that is, got something when they're out to get you, or they have something wrong or something like that. There's a lot to learn. So there's a reason why a lot of people get born into these situations. And when you really start just looking at everybody's life as a situation they're birthed into to learn from that experience, things start making so much more sense. I just think that people are just, nothing makes sense to them about life is because they're being misdirected. They're being led towards, the Bible is supposedly has all of our answers. But there's a lot of different Bibles. There's a lot of different religions. And there's so much control. There's so much, the religion is kind of its own enslavement. There's still somebody over you. Why would anyone think that God would make it so you're in prison forever? Why wouldn't God want its creatures, want its own experience to be about freedom? So, when we've gone through these ages where we've been imprisoned, I mean, we're leaving an age right now where we've been imprisoned, where we didn't even realize we were imprisoned. But we're getting this opportunity to break free, to see it, so that when we rebuild into the new world, that we will not build those kinds of structures. We will understand how detrimental this is to humans. You know, we've got to move towards this freedom. I'm really hoping that there's going to be some communities that are going to start cropping up all over the place. That, and you know, it's because in DC, it's a sovereign country inside of our country. It's like Washington, D.C. is a district of Columbia, district of British Columbia. It's not even a part of the United States. And the Vatican, they also have their own sovereignty. Well, why can't we use these rules? Why can't communities crop up and we use these sovereignty? Okay, well, I'm my own separate country inside of the United States, the Republic of the United States, because it's already taken down as the corporation. The only way that they keep this going is because there's so many people that don't understand what's going on, and it's just to wake them up so that they can start to question things. But for those of us who do, why can't we start moving in towards these sovereign communities that are separate from the country, especially right now when they're about to start hitting us with this UN bullshit where they are taking away all the sovereignty of every country. So, and I don't know what's going to happen with that, you know. Is it going to go into a full-on civil war right in the streets? I mean, there's a lot of guys with a lot of guns, and they're not going to be saying, okay, yeah, come in, take my family, split us up, do whatever you want. They're not going to do that. So, I don't know. I know where I'm at is, I don't know. I would think that the buses could pull up and say, hey, we're taking the camps, and people just line up and, okay, let's go. You know, I don't know. I'm hoping, you know, that there's more and more people around me waking up. When I do some of those TikToks about the weather and the towers and stuff, that there are people in Washington State who are saying, I'm having the same experience. So, you know, there is a lot of people who are waking up, but I don't know. It's just kind of a scary place to be in the red zone and the zombie apocalypse. So I don't know. We'll just see how things go. I'm still hoping, you know, for this tsunami to come in energetically and hit everything and just change everything in another direction. That's what we need. Is we need things to start going in our favor. I felt good that the storm didn't come yesterday. Then I was like, oh, maybe they got control of the weather machines. And then one thing too, while I've been out working in the yard, these people who try and say like, oh, that's just pollen. Like, even when I went on my trip. So before I left, my car was covered with this dust stuff. And so I sprayed it off, and I could never get it all off. It kind of turned into like the water activated it and made it turn like a coating on my car. It was really weird. Okay, so that's not pollen, right? And so my car, you can still feel it. It feels like it's got some texture over it. And then everywhere I went, all over my yard, I started seeing this powder stuff is on everything. It is, and it's not just like a powder you can wash off. It's like activated with water or something. I swear it's like some sort of concrete or something. I don't know what they're spraying on us. You know, there's people talking about the different stuff, aluminum, barium, all this different things. And, you know, I don't know. I know that that's what they spend their time in labs trying to figure out, what poisons work the best on us. And, you know, I've been having tons of sneezing, and there was another thing too. All my joints have been hurting. But then I was like, well, you know, I did get the chips and the salsa and the queso, so it can be from the toxins and that. So, you know, all we can do is just keep having awareness of everything. Just paying attention. Don't get scared by it. Remember, it's a movie. It's an illusion. We're here just to learn that nothing can really happen to you. You are eternal. That this illusion that we're in this body is just an illusion. You are really being driven by your higher self. And, you know, the avatar is just beginning to understand what it is. And so that is part of the connecting to your higher self, is to understand, you know, that there's just people who think like the avatar is them and that they have control over their experience, and they're frustrated because everything they try doesn't work, and they're just trying to do this or trying to do that. But nothing you will do or try will work, because you are on a contract, you are on a mission, you are in a set schedule, a set what is that called, script. Everything is already set, so there is no changing and trying to do what you want. There's a reason why you're here, and it's just tapping in and tuning in to why you're here and understanding that part, and stop trying to do things that you're not here to do. That's the main thing, and that is why people get so frustrated. I think it's going to make a big difference in people's lives when they start realizing, oh, I'm here for this experience. I'm here to experience lack. I'm here to experience, well, there's a lot of death that people are going to be experiencing, you know. I mean, there's a lot of people dying. I mean, that woman's husband was closed up. They didn't even attempt to do anything, and she was really upset. She's like, you know, these tumors are growing fast, people. There's a reason why this is happening. And I also think something with this frequency, like that one woman who was doing those pictures of herself every day, who was saying that she was aging, that would also make things tumors grow faster if they're turning something up. And, you know, I don't know all of this, what all they have control with this time and space in this reality, but they obviously have a lot of, you know, we just thought we were just here on this planet living our lives and trying to make the best of things, but it's always been an experiment, and it's an experiment beyond our understanding, far beyond our understanding. And so I think that whatever they've been doing to try and stay in power and flipping the page back and flipping the page back and keeping us in this Groundhog Day, never ending, with them just, I don't know, enjoying their time here, murdering. I don't know. It's hard to say. Their idea of a good time is very different than most of ours. So anyways, I feel like I'm just really rambling and saying a bunch of the same stuff I always say. So I'm going to run to the store and get some stuff. I might record some more. Maybe I'll have something more important to talk about. But, you know, I just keep saying, open your mind, open your mind. Stop focusing so much on the world that they're trying to give you, and start focusing on the world that's all around us, because everything is around us. Just people don't see it because they're focused on what they're told to focus on. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Bye.